What is up, everybody? Welcome to the live composing show. My name is Stephen Melin, and I want to start today by first of all saying thanks for being here. I hope you're having a fabulous Wednesday. Last week was my first attempt at being back kind of in the public scene after 3 months of not doing live streams, and in that process of having our sixth kid and relearning how to be a parent, apparently, and doing the whole baby thing. Man, it's been a wild ride. Part of that process was also building a new PC and getting that custom built and then troubleshooting it for weeks, getting all of my data transferred over, new drives, the whole 9 yards. I couldn't write music for quite some time. Had to get everything reset up. I mean, from the ground up, all my apps, all of my music writing software and sample libraries. It was the biggest of headaches, but that's why I did it during that time period, because I knew I could. And all that to say, I finally got it all working. Last week was kind of it was a test to see if everything worked for live streaming, and we learned that it doesn't. And I had to troubleshoot it even further. We survived last week, but now since our stream last week, I've been able to go back through and squash all the gremlins, all the tech gremlins, and here we are. So I'm really pumped about today. And for anyone new, we have Chunky Squirrel hanging out with us today. What's up, man? I'm excited that at some point we'll find a new normal. Even says right there, live composing show every Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern. That is the normal time that we've had for a couple years, but we'll see if that's going to be possible moving forward with our new family schedule. Just trying to figure it out. But for right now, hey, I get to stream because kiddos are out for a little bit, so it's going to be a fun time. I can be as loud as I want. And I tend to sing and yell and stuff, which I can't really do if kids are trying to do school and sleep. Or if kids are running throughout the studio and whatever. But yeah, I'm glad you guys are here. Just to recap from last week, I started on a rescore of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is finally out. I have not played the game yet. I'm curious if anyone here has played it yet. I'd love to hear your experience so far. I loved the first entry of the remake. And I'm sure I'll love this too, but I don't have a PS5, and this would be the only reason to buy a PS5 for me. And maybe it's worth it, but I don't know. I'm leaning more towards getting a Steam Deck, and then if it comes out on Steam, of course, it has to come out on Steam. Hey, what's up, Ethan? Yeah, man, it's so good to be back. So good. I feel like not everything's normal yet, but it's close enough to normal that I can work at least. I have some active gigs, have some game projects I'm working on, which is super exciting. It's slightly overwhelming to go from 0 to 100, but it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. You know that meme where the room's on fire and the dog sips the coffee. It's fine. Everything's fine. But yeah. So we started on this rescore last week, and I have a slightly new setup. I have 4 screens. I already had 4 monitors before, but now I have a dedicated monitor for the purpose of doing this. Oh, so cool. Isn't that so cool? So I can still see my DAW just fine, and I can play it. I'm so excited. I'm not big on green screens or anything. I might play around with that later, but I think production quality is really important, and now I have a PC that's strong enough. It can handle anything, so I might start thinking of some new ways to kind of create some more seamless, more interesting live streams. But I love that because I have a dedicated monitor for my video playback. It's over here, but that's why I keep pointing over here. I can do cool things like that where I can just have all of my screens running at the same time and then just kind of showing you with my Stream Deck what's happening. And I can kind of show you. I think you guys have seen this before. I'll go to this one. You've seen this before, right? So I have all my live stream buttons, but also have with New Window, which is my DAW, I now have some dedicated macros that I programmed inside New Window. So each one of these buttons does a function while writing that saves me a lot of time, especially like zooming functions, insert silence, deleting time, enabling tracks, disabling tracks. That kind of thing is so helpful. And I love doing that within New Window. And it is definitely my favorite DAW now for that reason. Because I could just write so stinking fast. It's crazy. So what I'm going to do for today is pick up where we last left off, which is with this battle track for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And what's really cool about this is what I want to do is take this little main theme. It's something like that, isn't it? Oh. That's a dumb sound. Let's just grab some strings. What I'd love to do is take that melody and then go to another part of the gameplay clip, which I want to be able to show you this to you guys. Let me think this through. Oh, there we go. That's a cool way. I could do it like that. That's pretty cool. I'm still playing around with my screens, so maybe that'll be a cool way of doing it. Like, I'd love to go to... If you guys have any suggestions of, like, visuals of what you'd like to see, I'm open to suggestions. I was just kind of playing around with OBS this week to get a new setup. I want to go to a section like this where it's all exploration and use that theme. So here's just a little bit that I did last week when I had a second.
Hey! Not that way! It's a dead end! Rockslide took out the bridge a while ago. Come on back, okay?
So here's what I'm going to do, just so that you guys can see better. I'm going to put... Would that be interesting for you guys? Let me take... Since I now have a side screen, let's try, just for fun, putting it right here. Just kind of overlaid on top. And then what I can do is, I should have a button here that turns it on and off. Let me toggle that real quick. That might be actually really helpful for us today. That way I don't have to keep changing the screens on you. But within OBS, there's a really cool function that you can set within a scene. This is Streamlabs OBS, by the way. In a specific scene, I should be able to show or hide that video, which might be kind of cool. And I meant to do that. It's just so much setup. Oh boy. Make sure I'm in the... Oh, I'm in the wrong... You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm in the wrong screen. I'll get it. There we go. So I can show or hide it like that. Yay. Now let's see what happens if I push my button here on my Stream Deck. There it goes. See, look, I push my button and then it appears or disappears. So cool. But yeah, that might be helpful for us so you can still see what's happening in my DAW. But then I can hide it if we need to hide it. Yay. That's going to work just fine. Cool. So anyway, so if I go to an earlier section like this, which is an exploration section, and I take that theme, this is just a basic idea I had.
Hey! Not that way! It's a dead end! Rockslide took out the bridge a while ago.
So it sounds like they have like a damage loop going on in the background. I wouldn't be surprised. It's so heavily used in the industry. So let's grab one of those just to kind of match the style. So load up Contact 7. And let's go find damage. I specifically think this is a damage 1 loop. What is it called? Rhythmic. Yeah, loop menu. This sounds like an organic elements. This is kind of scary that I know those sample libraries that well, but like it literally sounds like one of these. Doesn't it? I don't usually use damage, but feels, I mean, it's literally what they're probably using. in the actuals. So let's let me mute the original audio. And let's see if we can find a nice beat here and try to get that in since we're thinking about it. So this, I'm just going to call this in my tracks. Damage loop, let's color it red to keep it percussion oriented. And I'll put it up here up top. And let's play it in. I'm not usually a hold down a key kind of guy, but it feels like the right move here. There we go. And hey, if you're watching, come say hey. It's nice to see some new faces, some new names. This is what I get for streaming at a different time, and I hope that that is helpful for those who don't normally get to join on Thursdays at 12. Here we go. It's a little too intense. I like these war drums. Here we go. I can live with that. So anytime I use a loop, which is kind of rare to be honest, I'll extend the loop slightly. And then what I want to do is render it in place. That way I now have audio to work with instead of just that MIDI clip. Let me zoom in so you can actually see it. There you go. I'm going to color it blue. I like to do live audio or wave audio as blue. And by the way, I'm in 96K 32-bit float for my project. I could go higher with my new setup, but I feel like that's the most stable, especially for a super large project and some of my soundtracks. And it's double the quality of my final export, my final delivery, which is going to be 48K 24-bit. So it's nice to be slightly higher quality, and then it's almost like shooting in 4K and then exporting at 1080p because that's what YouTube wants. But yeah, it still retains a higher quality that way. But it keeps all my projects consistent and all my sample libraries consistent, which is nice. So anyway, I did that so that I could have this loop hanging out here and we can do whatever we want to it. So over here in my mixer, I like to do just a brief EQ to tame it down a little bit. Leave some space in the middle. Wow, so we got two people here today, Chunky and Raisin. I'm not sure how to say that name. Razian. That found me yesterday. That's crazy on YouTube. I've been around for years. That's so wild. But welcome, guys. Welcome. Guys and gals. Yeah, I feel like that feels way better. What's up, Devin? It's amazing what a little scoop in the mids will do. Most sample libraries have this boosted right here in the mid-range anyway. So by taking it out, it makes things sound more natural. A bit meatier, beefier, if you will. And then the main reason I bounced it like this is I wanted to go over here, and the loop restarts, right? It's a loop. It's going to start on the beat. So what I want to do is get this first beat and then have a little tail, a little fade out. That way it feels more natural. See how that currently does not feel natural? It just kind of stops. So the goal is to kind of get it out right before the next. That feels good. Okay, and then there's another way we can kind of doctor it up a little bit is to add a slight bit of reverb, and I already have a global verb going on. And we'll set it at like -20. Even that's too much. -30. Okay, cool. You pronounce it, of course. YouTube is blocking your comment. Rashawn. Cool. Rashawn. Very cool. Nice to meet you. There. That sounds good. It feels good. Hey, what's up, Levi? There we are. Yay, that feels nice. So, I was going to start with the battle track today, but hey, you got to go where inspiration lies. Right now it's the exploration. Now here's the thing, I actually started it off the beat, so that's another thing with working with audio is you can just drag it wherever you need it to go. So here we go, I'm going to start it right on the beat, right there. I like that it's off the beat. Cool. I like that a lot, actually. It's so simple, right? And let's be honest, right? The purpose of me writing these live composing show tracks, it's has multiple purposes, but the final product that I'm producing right now is not for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, as cool as that would be. But instead, I take all these music tracks and I turn them into video game music packs that I sell on Unity, Unreal, Itch, and Game Dev Market. And so it's very helpful to deliver stems or layers or multiple versions. So when I deliver this to the final game developer, even though it's not for this game, it'd be for a different game, when they have this track, they're going to have a battle track, they're going to have an environment track that has the same melody, and they can use them for two different purposes, but they can also stack on top of each other. And by having layers like this, they could just mute the drum layer, the damage loop, or they could keep the melody, and it opens up a lot of possibilities for how they can use it in their game. But this is something I do for real games as well. But it's just another way of thinking about it is think more vertically, and you'll always get more usage and more sales opportunities, because when you're putting together these tracks, you're no longer just selling one track. I could milk this to turn it into 10 tracks, 10 different possible variations, whatever, sell it as one video game music pack for 10, 15 bucks. And now one game developer has one really cool main theme that they can use for their battle track, for their environmental track, maybe for a title screen, and now they have it in a lot of capacities. So just another thing to be considering, especially for those of you who are looking to jump into the video game music space. That's one of the simplest ways to kind of sneak in through the back door to get your music on a real video game tomorrow, you know? Yeah, so I hope that is helpful. There we go. I'm still working on my buttons here. I gotta figure out what button does what. I do have them labeled. I just have to stop long enough to read it. But I like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because the track still works without the drum beat. Just fine. Now, because this was just kind of me noodling earlier, I do want to make sure that I actually quantize this a whole lot more. So let's take a look at this. Everything's pretty much dead on a quarter note. So let's do 1/4. That's what that stands for. And I'm not going to quantize the ends. I'm just going to quantize the intro, which means like where the note starts. I want to make sure these all are on big beats. So Digi J, what's up, man? With video game music packs, I've teetered with both camps. So I've done packs where there's no layers, there's no stems, there's no alt mixes, and then I've done others where I do. I don't know if there's a preference for one or the other. To me, I've just done it based on, does the track lend itself well to having lots of layers. This track will lend itself very well because I'm literally writing 2 different tracks, a battle track and an environment track that could literally be stacked on top of each other because of the same BPM, same drum beat, same feel. And that makes a whole lot of sense to then export multiple versions, turn it into a pack, what have you, or collection. But I do also offer, no one's ever taken me up on it yet. I just started offering this a couple months ago. We'll see. Time will tell. But I do now offer for an additional fee if a developer reaches out and they want some changes, some edits to the tracks, or some alternate mixes because they don't like the flute that's in one of the tracks, but they love the track. It would be perfect for their game. I do offer that, but no one's taken me up on it. So I don't know. This is the Wild West. I've been saying it for a couple of years now. Video game music packs are the Wild West of the game industry. And it's hot. It's red hot. If you've not jumped into this scene yet, come on. What are you waiting for? It's going to keep growing, and then it's going to hit its climax, and then just like every industry, every music industry, there's going to come a day where either AI takes over the world or game developers lose interest or whatever. Something's going to happen where they just don't want the ubiquitous commodity of music, of background music anymore. And they're going to turn to composers to write custom music. So I have my feet in both camps because I think it's volatile. I don't know. I mean, the music industry's always been volatile. I mean, just look at the record industry, then look at the MP3 industry with iTunes, and then it's turned into streaming, and even that's going downhill. So everything kind of has a 5 to 10 year shelf life. So VGM packs are kind of in the 3rd-ish, 4th year of it. It might only last another year, or it could give us another 5-6 years. But I'm putting all my eggs in that basket from a packs perspective because I'm going to milk it as much as I possibly can to help as many people as possible, to get my music in as many games as possible. It's already counting in the 18,000 range. Is that right? Yeah, it doesn't sound real that my music can be in over 18,000 games, but that's how many times it's sold. It doesn't mean it's been used. It's just crazy to me to think that there's that many developers with hands on my music. But that's just kind of where we're at. This is like the golden age of this specific thing. So jump in it while it's hot. If it changes tomorrow, sorry, you missed the boat. Jump on the new thing. Anyway, but custom music will always be there, right? I make the lion's share of my income from custom music, and I always will, because that is the one thing that's irreplaceable. No one else can sound like me, nor can I sound like them. So as long as I can stay true to my artistry, I'll always have work, because there's always going to be a demand for custom music. Anyway, whew, that was like... Good questions, though. So really all I'm doing right now is cleaning up this MIDI. No. Let's see. No. Do I want quarter notes? No. I think I'll do 3 beats, 1 beat. Like that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take away all my pedal. When I'm just writing sketches, I'm a pianist at trade, so I tend to use pedal, which is sustain pedal, and it kind of gives a false impression when you look back at the MIDI. You can't really tell how long the notes actually are because of all the pedals that were, in a live sense, it makes sense, but let's clean this up. Yeah. Levi has a cool question. Good questions today, guys. You came out hot. Let's see. Where'd it go? There it is. Levi says, how important is track naming? Have you noticed any difference in sales between something with a real title and Epic Fantasy number 27? Yeah, don't titling is everything. If you're selling a product of any kind, a product or service, you should have not a trademarked name, but you know what I mean. Awesome product, TM. Like, you should have your own unique name. Otherwise, what are you doing? Like, you're selling a unique product. I hope that your music pack is unique and no one's ever done it before, and it's its own unique, cool thing that game developers really want to use in their game. Yeah, that's really important. In fact, it's kind of like a YouTube video. You could have the best YouTube video in the world, but if you have a stupid title, no one's ever going to click on it. Or if it's just a lame cliche, the same thing, same title everyone else has used. Same thing goes for thumbnails. Now, granted, I'm not the best at thumbnails on YouTube, but I've noticed a big change when I spend the time making a great thumbnail, a great title that I know is going to raise curiosity and interest. Same goes for sales copy. Same goes for the SEO terms, which are like the keywords that you use, the tags that you use. It all matters. And this is like a shameless self-promo here, but just because we're talking about it, if you guys really do want to dive into this world, I do have a course within VGMA called 7 Steps to create, or I guess 7 Steps to release your first VGM pack. And that's available right now, videogamemusicalliance.com. And unfortunately, my assistant, Matt, our community manager, is not here with us today because I'm the weirdo who decided to go live at this super strange time. He's not available at this time. But, normally he's the one, Normally he's the one that shoots all the links to you guys and whatever, but hey, I'm running solo today. But yeah, go check it out. You can go check out any and all the courses there. They are available right now. But I'll go ahead and tell you guys, because you're hanging out with me right now, if you want the best deal, jump onto, grab the free case study, which actually talks through one of our members who's now crushing it. We have a lot of group members actually crushing it, hitting 5 figures per month with video game music exclusively, which is super exciting. Takes a couple years to get there. Like it's not a fast shortcut. They're just working hard and they're doing what we talked about, and they're actually putting their music out there. They're landing crazy sales. They're getting hooked up with really awesome game developer clients. You can go check all that out. Anyway, when you grab that free case study, that is, you'll also be put on our email list, and then you'll actually get some cool promo deals there to help you get into the ecosystem and jump into learning how to sell your own stuff. But enough about that. Okay, what were we doing? Got so sidetracked. See, I've missed you guys, and it's nice to meet some new friends here. I talk about this a lot, but being a composer is pretty lonely. You got to know that about the gig. That we sit in our studios all day long, make music, have headphones on, and make awesome music. We get to work remotely with a lot of people, but you're working by yourself most of the time. So any chance that we get to have conversations about our craft, we get to talk about with other fellow composers who want to jump into this, it's really exciting, and I love that. I wonder what this rhythm should be. I do like it. That works for me. Hey, Micah. One of the regulars. Micah, we have like a bunch of new people today. I'm hoping that's because we're streaming at a weird time, but why don't you say hey to some folks? Lots of new friends. All right, so this right here is what I would consider a Final Fantasy cadence. If you guys have seen my YouTube video here, it's a little old. It's from a few years back. It's where I talk through the music theory of Nobuo Uematsu. So sorry, I got your name wrong. Nobuo Uematsu. And his music theory, basically, it's, if you're familiar with any of the Final Fantasy soundtracks, 1 through 10, you'll know that it's very prog rocky, it's orchestral, it's fantasy. But he has a tendency to jump to the minor 5 chord right here, or the minor 4. So this is a very Final Fantasy VII thing to do, and I'm just trying to infuse what I can. Short answer, DigiJ, yes and no. The course is the 7 Steps course is primarily about how to build the thing, how to get it on all the the 4 marketplaces and some basic practices to get it exactly where it needs to be. So you're doing all the thinking on the front end to make sure that you're planning ahead for things like thumbnails and screenshots and artwork, descriptions, the SEO side, the actual technical side of getting it into the different marketplaces. But beyond that, it's not about the promoting side. And I would even argue that you shouldn't be promoting it unless you already have an email list and you're in constant talks with game developers. Otherwise, it's just going to be spammy and annoying to people. No one wants to be spammed about your latest music pack. It doesn't matter to them. But what you want instead is to have a really well-crafted pack that's on the stores that is so compelling, that the title is so spot on, the thumbnail is so spot on, the music is so great, the presentation, the sales description, it's all so well-crafted that when someone types in the exact thing that they're looking for, exploration music, that sounds like Zelda. Boom, your pack comes up because that's exactly what you wrote and it's exactly what you wanted it to do. And then, boom, they buy it. They leave a great review. You put your information in there if they want to contact you for custom music. You might get a gig out of that. You might not, but it's going to snowball, get more sales. They're going to tell their game developer friends when they're looking for music. You see how this starts to snowball. And it might not be the first pack that does it. It might be the second or third. For me, truth be told, I made 6 bad packs. My 7th broke everything, and it made me rethink everything. And now I have 31 packs out, right? So I've gone totally all into this thing. And that's just another story. If you jump in there, you'll see it. But yeah, I have other courses in there as well. And inside VGMA, we have lots of master classes and things where we specifically talk about the marketing side, the branding side, and even right now, actually, next week, I'm filming the next course, our level 4 course, which is all about branding, marketing, and contracts, invoicing, the nitty-gritty basics of business to actually make a living. And it's all about actually specifically how to make and sustain the first $1,000 per month within the first 90 days and then beyond. Very exciting. I love this stuff. I love talking about it. So, great questions. So anyway, here's my minor chord that's going to resolve into a major. Wow, I'm like talking up a storm here, not writing music. Ah! All right, cool. This is such a sloppy MIDI, but that's okay. I really liked that. So here's what I'm going to do. I want the drum beats. I might, honestly. I want it to go a little bit longer. So let's do this. Let's turn my grid back on. Let's grab. Do some math. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's where the loop should naturally continue. Something like that. So now I can take this. Hey, Jew. We got Beat Wisdom. Matt. Got lots of the gang here today. What's up? Other Matt, he is unavailable today. He's actually being an awesome dude and helping his parents out with something. So he's unable to make it today, but he sends his condolences. Yes, Beat Wisdom 31 packs is bananas, but I've seen how awesome packs are, and I got to live it out. If I'm going to preach this, I got to do it. I'm not going to tell you guys to go make packs and then me not do it. What's that all about? Yuck. What is this? Da, 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 da. There we go. I'm actually going to do it right Yeah, so all of our new friends here today. You'll get to meet Matt the next time we do a stream. We actually have lots of events coming up. Finally getting back to the groove. Getting back to all these calls and things. All right. So that's my basic idea of the environment track here. I don't know how long I want it to be or why I even started at this rando spot. Probably because this is all in the menu in the video. Oh no, there we go. All right, that's cool. So let me take all of this. Let's scoot it back. So I'm going to go to 1, 1. Push it all back to start at measure 2, I guess. That's probably a good spot. Yep. We'll do measure 3. And we're going to call this, I'm going to call it FF7R environment. Hey, Andy. I want to keep it at 120 BPM. Let's do that. Hey, Eric. That's a nice little Dark Souls-esque. Very fancy. There we go. All eighth notes. Might kill the strings here and just do something a little bit more ethereal. I don't think I have the flautando strings out yet. Call this the B section. Ah! What's happening? There we go. I'll have to unselect. So I have two dividing sections going on. There we go. Nope, that should be orange. That should be orange. There we go. I don't think I have those guys out, but I can get them out. One of my go-to patches is from, where'd it go? Okay, duplicate. This is going to be, what do they call it? Flautando. So violins, flautando. This is going to be contact 7. There's a patch within Lo Egria, which is a Spitfire. And the high violins, there it is. Look how fast things load. It's crazy. Like, there's no loading time with this new build. It's so crazy. Let's do my close violins down a little bit. Let's crank it up. Let's put it on flautando, and we will lock the articulation so it can't be changed. All right, sounds like this. Oh, and make sure it's routed. It should be. over here. Yep, it's routed to Aether. Yeah, those that's my demo sustain patch. That's actually the free Helix string ensemble from Orchestral Tools. Phenomenal. Go grab it right now, guys. If you don't have this right now, it's free. I'm starting to use these all the time. They're so good. Helix is the name of it. It's a free string ensemble, and all it has is short and so spiccato, which is short, and sustains. That's it. No mic positions, but hey, it is incredible. Probably the best free strings I've ever heard. Anyway, I'd like to do some high like this. Keep climbing up. Keep riding the mod wheel. I actually like that 8-bar phrase a lot. Take all of those. Those were all quarter notes. Let's just quantize them in. I actually really liked that. I don't think I want to change it. And we'll turn it down a little bit. Here's a cool function that I have now programmed in. It's called delete time. So I am going to just, because I know how it works, I'm going to shorten this right here. All right, let's check this out. Here's how this is going to work. I'm going to use my Stream Deck real quick. So I'm going to just show you the whole screen. I'm going to type in 22 to 23. That's my range, right? And I have a button that just deletes it. Boom. Let's go. Let's go. Very Final Fantasy 15-esque. There we are. Yeah, Micah, finance is prohibiting, right? Steam Deck is really cool. I held off for a long time, but then once I really saw it in action, let's be honest, once I used one, I was like, oh my gosh. A friend had one, and I tried it out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a game changer for writing quickly. Get all your macros and buttons. Oh. It sounds so stupid, but my favorite functions are the open app buttons and the force close buttons. I'll show it one more time. So right here, I have an open new window button, my last session, and then force close new window. So it doesn't ask any questions. There's no prompts. There's nothing. It just straight up one button shuts everything down. So if there's an error, if it's loading too long, if it's something, I can just boom and then push the other button to restart it. And it's so nice. And I don't know how you would do that because it's a macro. Unless you could find, maybe there's an app that allows you to use like on my keyboard, I have the G's. I have G1 through G6. You could theoretically make a macro button. The same kind of thing using some software, but this is just so much easier. What's funny is I have a macro on my computer keyboard, I hit G6, I just did, it brings up this window, which is how I edit all my buttons for Stream Deck. And then I have another macro, G1, which force closes whatever I'm on. So I move quick on this PC now. And I already moved quick, so yeah. I said this last week, I can now work as fast as my brain lets me. If I have an idea, I can execute it at the same speed as my thought, which is good or bad, right? It can be quick or slow, just depending on that. But there's no bottleneck anymore of the technology, that's how it should be. Like, if I'm a painter and I have all my paintbrushes, I should be able to grab my paintbrush that I need and put it back down. Like, it's such a simple concept, but boy, does it make a difference in workflow. My gosh. What I really want is some Freya. I don't know how to say this. Freya. Have you guys seen this library? It kicks booty. Freya. It's a few years old now, but this is by Strasov sampling. I mean, this sounds better than a real choir. No, it really does. It sounds better than a real choir, which is kind of the problem. This is why I actually have to record real choirs, so that it sounds human instead of perfect. But you better believe I use this on everything now. No, wrong. There it is. The Zelda chord. It's resolving to a 5/7, which goes down. This is like the Majora's Mask cadence that I use all the time. I steal it for fun. It's so good. Here it is, resolve. But in the minor, so it never actually resolves. It's like it's a blend of Baroque music, but instead of resolving, instead of like the Amen, it goes to a minor. And it goes back to the flat. That's my musical love language right there. Anyway, I'm getting so distracted. Here we go. I don't know where we're going to go with. Okay, you guys are composers. Maybe you resonate with me on this. Do you feel like the music writes itself? This is a real question. Does anyone else feel like when they put their hands on the keyboard, guitar, whatever, do you feel like the music just writes itself? I do. Like I literally just play what's in my head. Like I'm not, oh, that's just a C going to a B flat to a. No, it's just. Anyway, super digress. That harp is really fun. Anyway, let's do something here. Oh, I love that description, Caleb. Caleb says, yes, for me, it's like I'm discovering it and it already existed. Yeah. Same. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. I don't feel like I'm writing music. I'm just like playing what should already exist. Cool. I like extending that phrase a little bit more. So that means I need to go back to the harp. Yeah, choir's way too loud. I like that low C. Yummy. Sometimes things like that, just take the first take and run with it. Don't make it perfect. Just like, I wouldn't normally elongate it that many times because I like to do things in 4 and 8s. But sometimes like that, when you have a cool idea, just let it go. Let it breathe. That is too loud. Thick. That is my favorite string patch. That's orchestral samples, or just mixed words. Orchestral Tools, the Sign Player. This is the Wolfenstein low string sustained legato. It's an octave patch. That's from whatchamacallit, Metropolis Arc 1. Highly recommend. If you don't get any of the other Metropolis Arcs, number 1 is the best, I think. Has the most versatility. And it's the major, it's like the most essential longs and shorts that you would use in orchestral writing. Too loud. Excuse me, a little bit too loud. Let me start this just less. Needs to kind of ramp into that instead of being so loud there at the beginning. So here, you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just trying to curve it up a little bit, like that. That would also be really cool, doubled in low woodwinds, which I might actually need. Let's do this. Yes, palette, someone said earlier, Red Room Audio. Let's do low winds, and this is going to be legato. Let's do sine. Same thing, actually. Now, this does require going to Metropolis Arc 2, which is the Orchestra of the Deep. But inside there, they have low, really cool low woodwinds somewhere. They have bass clarinets, contrabass, yeah. Let's do contrabass clarinets mixed with bass clarinets. I might even grab from 3 here. I don't remember where things are. I don't want the whole thing. I'm looking for contrabassoon. Maybe that'll do it. So let's just mix those together. Let's do Omni for all of them. It sounds like this. Yeah, that's really cool. So it has tuba and euphonium in there as well. And let's make sure that it's routed pretty well. Should be -15. Yeah, it's just loud, and let's turn down the gain so we don't overdo it. Anyway, let's go back. I liked that. Let me jump to my B section. That was a cool low line. I'm not at mercy to divulge too much information on one of my current projects, but I just worked alongside a very well-known composer. You'll all know his name for video games. And working with him, he's a very good orchestrator. Really understands the orchestra, really understands kind of the film, the Jerry Goldsmith, the John Williams-esque side of orchestration, which I don't. And it was very inspiring working with him because it forced me to use a lot of woodwinds, a lot of low woodwinds, a lot of more obscure instruments in the orchestra, which really opened my eyes and reminded me of how cool the orchestra is. That it's not just strings, it's not just whatever. I think I deleted it. Crap. Okay, good. There we go. Oh, it's just supposed to be way back here, isn't it? Where'd it go? Oh, I want to put it right there on the C. Right there. We'll call this a quick C section as well. Right there. Okay, cool. So now let's copy it. Let's save. Let's put that in this new low winds legato. This will sound cool. Can't wait. Ooh. So ominous. That'll sound cool with some drum beats in the background. This a little bit, and it's too extreme. So I'm going to just kind of normalize. So I'm going to take the lows and the highs. So I'm going to take the lowest points of the MIDI, of the modulation, I should say. Come on. There we go. Why is it doing that to me? I'm not going to make it as extreme, I should say. Same thing with my low strings. The lows were too low and the highs were too high. That's all. It's a little bit too dramatic, and the scene doesn't call for that. We need something, but not that as extreme. Like that. That's much better. Cool. Now we need to add, I think subhits would be really helpful here. Very cinematic sound. Kind of goes along with the damage loop. It's not something I would use a lot, but this kind of calls for it because the picture, right, Final Fantasy VII, it has a lot of industrial elements, which kind of calls for a more cinematic, almost electronic sound to be mixed with the orchestra. So subhits, I actually have some of my own that I've made or captured over the years from all my trailer work. So over here, I have my own like sound design folder of all the things I've made over the years. And I have one called trailer music, and I have subhits. This is my favorite. It's just pure